Get ready for the action because we are diving straight into the heat with Conor McGregor mocking Nate Diaz for his recent loss to Mike Perry. The rivalry between these two titans is legendary, and Conor McGregor has dropped a serious shot after Nate Diaz suffered a tough defeat against Mike Perry. We break down exactly what McGregor is saying and what it means for their potential trilogy fight. Leading and incorrect, citing major omissions regarding existing structures on the site. We explore why this decision has implications for McGregor's massive home extension plans. And finally, we wrap up with the ultimate showdown anticipation as Conor McGregor and Max Holloway engage in a serious war of words ahead of their highly anticipated rematch at UFC 329 on July 11th. McGregor is issuing a direct challenge, telling Holloway he is going to put respect on his name. Don't miss this epic clash. Stay tuned right here for all the latest MMA news. Conor McGregor has continued to signal his intent to pursue a trilogy fight against Nate Diaz, despite recent developments in their rivalry. Diaz recently faced Mike Perry at Most Valuable Promotions event in Los Angeles, California, where he suffered a one-sided defeat, being so heavily battered by the end of the second round that his corner opted to throw in the towel. This performance follows earlier discussions regarding a potential trilogy bout between Diaz and McGregor. In response to the Perry fight, McGregor commented on social media, acknowledging the reasoning behind Diaz's decision not to accept a trilogy matchup, while simultaneously expressing continued interest. McGregor wrote on X, stating, "I see why Nate Diaz didn't take the fight, lol. Anyway, here's to when I get my hands on you, you lanky streak of piss." The rivalry between the two fighters, marked by a submission loss for McGregor at UFC 196 in 2016 and a majority decision win in their rematch at UFC 202, has long been a focal point for the UFC. While a rubber match remains unconfirmed, McGregor has not abandoned the possibility of a future confrontation. Separately, Conor McGregor is scheduled to make his return to the octagon on July 11 at UFC 329 in Las Vegas, where he will face Max Holloway. Jake Paul has issued a direct challenge to the UFC, announcing plans to compete against them through his newly launched MVP MMA organization. This declaration came immediately following a Netflix-hosted fight card featuring Ronda Rousey and Valentina Shevchenko. The tension escalated during the event when UFC President Dana White announced Conor McGregor's return in July during Francis Ngannou's walkout, an announcement widely perceived as a direct provocation to Paul's promotion. Reacting to White's statement, Paul sharply criticized McGregor and the UFC, stating, "The cokehead is back. Drop it during our event doesn't matter. That just shows how pressed they are, little insecure boys piggybacking off our event." Following Rousey's decisive victory over Valentina Shevchenko, Paul explicitly warned the UFC about the impending competition. He asserted, "You will definitely see more. We're breaking records tonight. This is one of the most viewed MMA events in history, and it's all credit to these women, to Francis, to Mike, to Nate. They put it all on the line. And MVP is just getting warmed up in MMA, and you're going to see a lot of us." So White House, Dana White, all of you be prepared because this is the takeover. Noi Dung Kai Tight. Kildare County Council has officially invalidated Conor McGregor's recent house planning application, citing that the submitted plans were misleading and incorrect. The decision follows a site visit by a council planner earlier this month, concerning the application lodged in April to permit a large-scale extension to his €3 million paddocks home near Straffen. /N/N in a formal letter addressed to Mr. McGregor and his architect, Tom O'Loughlin, the council stated that the application was deemed invalid because it failed to comply with regulatory requirements and therefore could not be considered by the planning authority. The core issue identified during the site inspection on May 7th was that the existing site layout plan did not accurately reflect the current state of the property. /N/N the council specifically noted omissions regarding several existing structures, including a significantly sized marquee-type structure, identified as a sports facility along with its hard surfacing, an outdoor shower toilet structure, connections, and a security hut. Furthermore, the site layout plan was found to inaccurately depict an existing internal road network, including the projecting decking area with access points to the River Liffey, associated water-based activities, shipping containers, and a site compound area. /N/N the council stressed that applicants must ensure all documentation, including plans and particulars, accurately reflect what currently exists on site, and that any required retention permissions for existing developments must be addressed within the application documents. /N/N architect Tom O'Loughlin countered that the current application was essentially a variation of the planning permission granted in 2022. He explained that the 2022 permission, which included demolition works and extensions, was currently in the process of implementation. The original permission covered significant alterations, including a playroom, cinema room, bar, dining room, family room, and a butler's pantry, alongside plans for a partially sunken basement to house a car park, gym, and ancillary rooms. /N/N the current application seeks certainty for completing the development after the 2027 expiry date of the existing permission, driven by Mr. McGregor's desire to be present for on-site management. O'Loughlin confirmed that Mr. McGregor has already demolished parts of the dwelling and removed the tennis court in line with the 2022 approval. /N/N the planning application was lodged after a previous decision by Nkoimasian Plinala in July last year had rejected plans for Mr. McGregor to demolish his 5-bedroom home and replace it with a sprawling historic stately home. /N/N Mr. McGregor has the option to lodge a new application, which could include a retention application for the existing structures identified by the council. Conor McGregor and Max Holloway are aggressively building anticipation for their highly anticipated rematch at UFC 329 on July 11 in Las Vegas. The fight announcement, confirmed by UFC CEO Dana White, signals McGregor's long-awaited return to the octagon after 5 years, following his recovery from a severe broken leg sustained in his 2021 bout against Dustin Poirier. In the lead-up to the event, McGregor has been vocal, directing his comments toward Max Holloway. McGregor, who previously defeated Holloway by unanimous decision in 2013, expressed his intent on social media, stating, "I'm going to son you, child. Again, you're going to put respect on my mother *C King name." This follows their initial encounter, where McGregor suffered a torn ACL in his knee, and Holloway was also dealing with a significant ankle injury. While McGregor secured the initial victory, the context of the first fight is important. McGregor was only in his second UFC bout when facing Holloway, meaning he was not at his peak as a 2-division champion at that time. Conversely, Holloway demonstrated remarkable resilience, achieving a 13-fight win streak while successfully winning and defending the UFC featherweight title in the interim. Both fighters are now squaring off for a second encounter, with Holloway expressing strong confidence in his pursuit of revenge. Responding to McGregor's taunts, Holloway wrote, "Nah, big dog, you gonna put some respect on my name. We gonna find out Saturday night." The matchup between McGregor and Holloway, too, is widely anticipated to be one of the biggest fights of the year, suggesting that the exchanges between the two stars are far from over before they meet in the octagon on July 11.